In 1969, Neil Armstrong descended a ladder and placed the first human footprint into the lunar dust. Across the globe, hundreds of millions of people gathered around televisions to witness the live broadcast of an event that seemed to defy the limits of the era. This was the first time life from Earth had successfully traveled to and returned from another celestial body, though that success would soon be met with a rising tide of skepticism. Conspiracy theorists argue that the entire mission was an elaborate production, claiming the lunar surface was nothing more than a highly detailed Hollywood soundstage. This theory points to the high-stakes pressure of the Cold War. In a race for ideological dominance, a faked victory would allow the United States to claim the moon without the massive risk of a hardware failure. It leads to a central question. Given the primitive state of 1960s computing, was the technology of the time better suited to faking the footage than building a ship capable of reaching the moon? To find the answer, we have to look past the rumors and test the mission's technical data against the laws of physics. The hardware required an enormous engineering effort. The Saturn V rocket stood 36 stories tall and generated 7.6 million pounds of thrust to escape gravity. Supporting that machine was a human network of over 400,000 NASA employees, contractors, and specialized technicians, each responsible for a specific piece of the mission. The secret sharing model calculates a secret's lifespan based on the number of people involved. With 400,000 NASA contributors, the window for a cover-up shrinks rapidly. The probability of a leak becomes a statistical certainty in less than 4 years. Maintaining a hoax of this magnitude would have required every single one of those 400,000 people to remain silent for over half a century. On the visual side, skeptics often point to intersecting shadows in photos as evidence that NASA used multiple studio spotlights. The moon's surface is covered in highly reflective regolith dust. This diagram shows how it bounces sunlight into shadowed areas. Without an atmosphere to scatter light, this ground reflection creates the high-contrast look often mistaken for artificial lighting. The waving flag is another common point of contention. However, look closely at the top of the flag. A rigid horizontal rod was built into the pole to hold the fabric outward. When planted, the vibration travels into the fabric. In a vacuum without air resistance, the flag continues to ripple and snap long after being touched. These visual behaviors prove the presence of a vacuum, perfectly matching the physics of an environment where air does not exist to provide drag. While the landing occurred, the command module orbited the moon, acting as a radio signal relay. Ground stations in Australia, the UK, and across the globe were tracking these signals in real time. By measuring the delay and frequency, these independent observatories triangulated the spacecraft's location directly at the moon. Even the Soviet Union, America's primary space rival, monitored the same telemetry. They confirmed the signal's origin, effectively verifying the American achievement. For a hoax to succeed, America's greatest enemy would have had to join the conspiracy and hide a faked win, a move that would have been completely self-defeating for the USSR. Conspiracy theories persist because the technical jump required to reach the moon was so extreme, it can be difficult to reconcile with the tools of the time. But the moon remains a stark, inhospitable witness to the physical risks taken by the crew. The mission also left behind physical evidence we still use today. These retroreflector mirrors allow scientists to fire lasers from Earth, bounce them off the lunar surface, and measure distance with centimeter-level precision. Apollo 11 is a physical fact of the lunar landscape, providing a measurable record of arrival. The story of the mission belongs to the 400,000 people who built the hardware and the 3 men who trusted it, proving that humanity's most ambitious milestones are lived, not faked.